Kathmandu is burning. WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram banned, but TikTok survives. Thousands of angry youngsters on street. KP Sharma government under tremendous pressure and an uprising like never before. Anarchy unfolds in yet another neighborhood of India. Nepal saw huge protests on September 8 as lakhs of Gen Zs took to streets chanting anti-government slogans in capital city of Kathmandu. The crowd kept swelling as it marched towards country's parliament. Soon after, the protests turned violent, with some of the protesters vandalizing the gates of Nepal's parliament. Heavy police deployed, army roped in. Nepal government imposes curfew in the capital city as horrific visuals of clash between cops and protesters flood the social media. What is the reason behind their sudden and massive outrage? What are the demands of these youngsters? Is the alleged censorship on social media platforms only reason behind this uprising? Or is there more than what meets the eye? And most importantly, is Nepal going the Bangladesh way? Let's understand. On September 4, Nepal government led by KP Sharma Oli decided to impose a ban on nearly a dozen social media platforms. This included Facebook, WhatsApp, X and Instagram as well. As per the Nepal government, these platforms did not comply with the country's regulations. These social media platforms allegedly failed to register with the government under new laws regulating the social media. The Nepal government says it gave enough time to these companies, but none of them met the 7-day deadline. Subsequently, an order to deactivate such platforms was immediately issued. Interestingly, the apps which were spared by this blanket ban also included TikTok, a Chinese social media platform. But what is even more interesting is the fact that the decision comes in the backdrop of an ongoing Nepal-China joint military exercise. This decision by KP Sharma Oli government has triggered widespread protests on the streets of Kathmandu, the capital city of Nepal. Government faced the charge of impeding freedom of speech and blanket censorship. Youngsters or the Gen Zs registered angry demonstrations, sloganeered against the government and even resorted to stone pelting. Drama intensified as the protesters barged into restricted areas, breached parliament building and even vandalized its gates. As these protests turned violent, government used all its might to curb these protests. Cops resorted to tear gas shells, water cannons and rubber bullets to disperse the demonstrators. However, when outnumbered and failing to assert control, the police also reportedly opened fire at these Nepalis. At least 14 people have been killed after being seriously injured during these protests. Government has also imposed curfew in Kathmandu. In several places, shoot-at-sight orders have also been issued. Prime Minister Oli chaired high-profile meeting of National Security Council attended by top guns of the country. This is not for the first time that Nepal is seeing such an uprising. Earlier in March this year, a similar protest broke out in the neighboring country when people demanded to reinstate the now abolished monarchy. This reminds India of what happened in neighboring Bangladesh almost a year ago. Elected government led by Awami League fell and Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina was forcefully ousted. Hasina, who fled the country, came to India and is living in exile, and an interim government under Muhammad Yunus is in place. And hence, as these massive violent protests rock another Asian democracy, policymakers in India must be watching these developments closely.